brief explanation of where I've been the last couple of days. So it's Saturday morning, and I didn't ride Thursday, so no vlog for Thursday. And yeah, so then we come to yesterday, Good Friday. I got Trini all set up, ready for a ride yesterday, and the first thing that happened was I plugged in a battery for the e-assist and the e-assist wouldn't switch on. Still don't know why, because all I did was swap one fully charged battery for another one, and then the e-assist worked. I don't know, maybe there's a loose connection somewhere in my wiring, but I'll have a better look at it at some point, but it's working for now anyhow. So that was problem number one. I sorted that, and I rode out off of my block and down the road. I got about 500 metres, and then I heard this noise coming from the back of the Trike, and it was my tyre rubbing on the rear mudguard, and it was doing that because I had a puncture. At which point I began to think, this is one of these days. So I thought, I'm so close to home, I'll go home and fix the puncture. And then on the way back home I thought to myself, well actually, the brakes have been playing up a bit. They've been a bit squeaky, and I think I needed to change the pads, so I thought, righto, let's have a maintenance day. So yesterday turned into maintenance day. I refitted brake pads all round, tightened and adjusted everything up, fixed the puncture obviously, checked the wiring on the e-assist, and I think we're all good to go now. But after the miles and times I've been out on her in the last week, I think a little bit of maintenance doesn't go amiss, does it really? I went down on the marsh this morning to head off down towards the Thames. I thought it'd be quite nice on a warm day to go down to the Thames and have a look there, show you guys down there. And unfortunately, by the time I got to the marsh, it was about 9:30. So this is Saturday on the Easter weekend, and the people are just going crazy down there. The canal tow path is just full of people. I mean, it's hard enough for me to get along there at the best of times. So I thought, maybe not, hey. Give that one a miss for today. Maybe we won't go back to the canal tow path until Tuesday when people go back to work. Who knows, we'll see. So until we get past the Easter weekend then, guys, you might have to put up a little bit of traffic noise, as I'm going to be on cycle routes rather than canal tow paths, just for a couple of days. But we'll soon get back to the nicer scenery. Wonderful, eh? Horrible alleyway. Yeah. But at least it's free of people. This is a cycle path and footpath that leads down an industrial road, and obviously all the industry is closed, be it because it's Saturday or because of the lockdown, whichever, but there's nobody using it, so it suits me. So whilst we're away from the traffic then, thought I'd turn the camera the other way just for 5 minutes and tell you all about today's topic. So I've been promising it for a long time. People keep asking me, what are those boots and shoes that I'm wearing on my feet? So today I'm going to tell you all about that, and also I'm going to talk about my cold feet. Yeah, my feet are always cold, apart from the warmest days of summer. the soles of my feet, not the rest of it, just the soles, from my toes down to about the middle of my foot, that top part of my foot as the pedal turns, right where the cleat is, you know, that sort of area. I'm going to stay away from the traffic as long as I can, actually. Caravan and camping park, I guess that'll be closed. As is the Odeon Cinema. God, it's quiet round here. So, I have two pairs of shoes that I wear when I'm on the trike. That's all, just two. And these are the first ones. These are what I would call my summertime or touring shoes. They're made by Shimano, and they are indeed a touring shoe. They're MT300s. They come with these really garish, bright red laces, similar to the colour red, like the flash on the side there, where the lace goes through the hole. And obviously I took that off. I particularly bought this pair of shoes because I wanted to take them touring, and whilst touring I also didn't want to carry another pair of shoes. So these ones are good to wear with another pair of trousers once I'm off the trike. You can wear these, and yeah, they're not the most fashionable pair of shoes ever, but they're good enough for wearing around a campsite or around a hotel in the evenings, as I say, when I'm off the trike. And it saves me having to carry another pair of shoes in my kit. Now, on that point, they're also not the most comfortable pair of shoes to wear off the trike, because the cleat for the clipless pedals just a little bit proud on the sole, so you kind of click as you're walking on a hard surface a little bit, but hey, it's not that bad. I had to take my top off. It's surprising how warm it is today. We're up to about 25 degrees Celsius. It was about 22, 23 yesterday, 25 today. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 13. I'm actually enjoying this, being away from the traffic. I think I might just pedal around this little circuit a few times before I head off. So now I've changed into the boots that you see me wearing when I'm out and about on the trike. Predominantly I wear these ones in the winter time, or if I'm going somewhere where I know I'm going to be doing some off-road triking. These are, again, they're Shimano's. These are the XM 900s. I think out of the two pairs I've got, these are the most comfortable. And if they weren't so heavy and take up so much space, I'd probably use these for touring as well. These have a Gore-Tex lining, so they're fully waterproof. And I think they were designed as a mountain bike boot. But as you guys have seen from my channel, I go off-road so much on my trike that they're quite handy to have if I have to get off treading around in mud. Then these will do quite nicely. I think I've had them now maybe 3, maybe even 4 years, and they're still just as good now as the day I bought them. There's nothing wrong with them at all. So as with my other pair of shoes, these are also clipless. Shimano cleats on the bottom, clip in and clip out. And those of you who've been watching my channel for a while will know that I have that because of a small problem that I have with my right foot. I don't have full feeling in my right foot, and it has been known to slip off the pedals occasionally if I'm not clipped in. But despite that problem with my right foot, I think I've used cleats for so long now, I think I would remain clipped in even without that. I just find it so much easier to pedal with my feet stuck on the pedals. If you haven't tried it before, give it a go. So why am I mentioning the fact that I clip in? Well, to my knowledge, pretty much all cycling shoes that have the cleats on the bottom have this hard sole. The boots that I'm wearing at the moment have that very hard rubber Vibram sole, which is great, as I say, when I'm off the trike walking through mud, and it's also great on the trike when I'm pushing on the pedals because it doesn't flex. You know, it needs to be hard so that you don't feel the pedal pushing through onto your foot hour after hour. So despite the advantages of having a hard rubber sole on the bottom of these shoes, the biggest drawback that I can find from it, one that I've repeatedly talked about on my channel before, is one that I suffer from every winter, and that's cold feet. The insulating properties of a hard rubber sole seem to be zero. If I've been out on the trike for more than a couple of miles in winter, the soles of my feet, particularly around the toes and about as far as the middle of my foot and around where that cleat is, I get painfully cold to the point where it's spoiling my ride. So when I've mentioned this on my channel before, people have come up with some great suggestions in the comments, and I'm always grateful for any suggestions you guys give me, you know that. And those suggestions have ranged from wear thicker socks, maybe wear 2 pairs of socks. I had these little heated pads, little foot warmers. That was another suggestion. And even buy some electrically warmed socks. And can I just say, been there, done that, all of them, and my feet are still cold. Let me stop and I'll show you these electric socks that I bought. Right, there we go then, guys. I have got a pair, I promise. This is just one of them, but yeah, they did come as a pair. But just for showing you, here's one of the socks. Now this is an electric sock. It's got a battery in the top there, and my foot slides in next to it, and then there's a cable that runs all the way down the side of the sock into the foot and then into the toes. Now, if I can explain why these didn't work for me, let's just take the battery off and put that aside for a minute. Mustn't forget that, I've put it down over there. Now, I'll just turn the sock inside out, show you the little heat pad. So inside out, there's this little, and I mean little, there's a little pad just there, about, I suppose it's about 3 inches by 2 inches, if that, 2.5 inches by 2 inches, something like that. And it's round like that, and it's stitched into the bottom of the sock. Or should I say, it's stitched into the toe end of the sock. I wish it was in the bottom, but that's my biggest problem with it. If I turn the sock sideways like that, you can see it's on the top of my toes. It's in the wrong place. And can I find a pair of electric socks where the heat pad is underneath? No. I don't know why, but they all seem to be creating these with the heat pad on that side. Now, okay, I've worn the sock the other way round. Means I've got this heel bulge on top of my foot, but I can deal with that, and I've put that pad underneath my toes. I've worn them this winter. I've been trialling them. Now, granted, these are not the most expensive pair of electric socks on the market. I wasn't really in the market for spending over £100 on a pair of electric socks. So these ones I got from Amazon, and I think they were in the region of £35 for a pair of socks, which to me is more than enough to be paying for a pair of socks. Problem was, they don't work. Even wearing them up the wrong way, these socks just did not keep my feet warm. That little heat pad barely gets warm at all. It's got 3 settings on the battery, and I had it on the highest setting that I could. Even at home, walking around on carpet, I could barely feel this heat pad warming at all, and that's on both of them, not just on one. So I know it's not a faulty sock, and I would have to be very lucky indeed to get a faulty pair of socks. But yeah, very disappointing. I rode them out on the trike and my feet got just as cold just as quickly. Simple as that. Now that said, I'm sure you guys over in North America, with your extra cold winters, I mean our winters are nothing like as cold as yours, I'm sure you have clothing stores that sell socks that are far superior to these, and probably at a cheaper cost as well. But in the UK, could I get hold of them at a decent price? No. And as I said, I'm not paying £100 on a pair of socks. That's just not what I'm in the market for at all. So electric socks, nah. And another suggestion that was made was that I try out a wind fairing on the front of the trike. And to be fair, it would probably work. But £200 or £300 for a wind fairing on a probably would work. The word probably. It's a lot of money to spend, and I don't know. It still does keep crossing my mind. And again, a fairing would also bring its own problems as well. I have the boom mount so far on this thing that the trike is incredibly long as it is already, and to add a fairing onto that length is just going to make it incredibly difficult for me to get round tight corners and through small gaps. It's hard enough as it is already. So the other remedy that I tried was foot warmers. These little sachets that you tear open, and when they're exposed to the air, they warm up, and they're supposed to last for up to 8 hours. So I bought a box of them to give them a go, and out of a box of 40, I think I've used 8 of them on different rides. And I think I've mentioned before actually on my vlogs that I did wonder whether I got an out-of-date box or just a naff box of ones that didn't work, because I've even tried them outside of my shoes, just left them laying on the table, and they just don't heat up at all. I say at all, they get mildly lukewarm. So between the two, the electric socks warmed up fractionally more than what these foot warmers did. But again, absolutely useless. Within a couple of miles, my feet were as if I wasn't wearing any foot warmers at all. So that leaves thicker socks, or 2 pairs of socks. And on balance, I suppose I would rather do that than the other two, the electric socks or the foot warmers. And the only problem with wearing thicker socks, or 2 pairs of socks, is that then my shoes become very, very tight fitting. Obviously I bought them to fit, and if you wear extra socks, it's not as comfortable. So the tagline to my channel is cycle touring in a comfy chair, and that's the one bit of comfort that I can't get right. And I would be really grateful to anybody out there who's watching this to leave a comment below and tell me, first of all, do you suffer from cold feet? And 2, if you do, what have you done to get around it? So anyhow, I think that's enough of cycling around this car park. My apologies for the boring background, everyone, as I've been going round and round, but for me, being able to film and talk to you guys about today's topic has just been so much easier away from all that traffic. and obviously there's nobody here, there's no pedestrians or other cyclists that I have to worry about, so it just makes filming really easy. I'll go back home along the canal so you can have a few pictures as we're going back that way of something a little bit better than just an empty car park. So before I go today, I just want to say a quick thank you for all the help that you've been giving me with topics in the comments below each of these vlogs. I've got enough to keep going for another few days, I think, but on that, keep the topics coming. If there's anything, any part of my gear, where I live, anything about my triking that you'd like to ask me at all, leave it in the comments below. Any of these daily vlogs, I'll pick it up. As always, I read all your comments, but keep your suggestions for topics coming, and I'll do my best to fit them in somewhere along the lines, and we'll keep this going as long as we can. Just to update you again on my extended family, everybody is still safe and well. There's been no change on that front, thank goodness. I hope you and all your loved ones are safe and well as well. And let's just all hope that we can get out the other end of this fairly soon, eh? So I'm going to leave it there for today then, guys, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Cheers then, ta-da.